Okay.
What's up, everybody? I'm K Marie.
I am Lou.
I'm Mary.
And we are
Murked in the Midwest.
What's up, cool cats and kittens? I'm that bitch, Carol Baskins.
Joe looking for her ass.
Right. So, what did y'all think about last week's episode? Our mixed bag episode.
Our part 1 and part 2. I think it was fun.
I liked it. I liked that it was a different pace and not, just murder. Because, even though we do like covering the cases, sometimes it gets heavy.
Yeah.
Like, you need a break.
Emotionally and mentally it gets heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's something that we'll definitely look into, like, doing more often.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a regular thing, but, like, every few months we'll throw in a mixed bag episode if there's some new content going on out there in social media that we feel like we really want to talk about. There were some topics we didn't talk about during this last one that I saved because I knew we said we wanted to talk about them.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm excited for that, but it was fun.
And I liked the feedback that we were getting when we were in live. Like, I enjoyed talking with you guys.
The arguments.
Well, a good debate is healthy.
Yes.
It is so good to get somebody else's view besides your own point or your small group's point of view is, it's a good thing.
Yeah, like, definitely, I liked how, like, it was just people, like, interacting, just throwing out random topics, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just, like, it allows you to see other people's perspective, even if it's not smart, but,
I got so many comments about that.
yeah, I
Where
wanted
people
to
like,
meme that. I wanted
first
to
of
make that a
all,
meme so
I
freaking
want to let
bad.
y'all know, hold on, I gotta look at my phone because Miss Ivy, listen, she was cracking up. She was like, I am laughing so hard at this episode in Mary.
Like,
and I'm like, I know, because I'm like, oh my
I
God.
had my face in this cup because I really thought she was about to go in. I was like, oh my Lord Jesus.
Everybody was just like, it's the way you looked in the camera. I wasn't even like being funny or anything. I was being so
That's
how I really feel.
And
she was with me though. She was like, don't cancel R. Kelly. Okay. I mean, he can
Oh yeah, I saw that post. Or the text. She was like, "Don't cancel R. Kelly though." We canceling him, not his music.
Right, the music stays. He can go. He can stay in jail.
We canceling Robert.
Oh yeah, Robert gets canceled.
I am here. But no, I really liked it because it was just like different. It was refreshing to have a break from true crime. Like,
even with that, it still got heavy.
It still got heavy, y'all. We edited. Well, Mary edited a lot, okay, because it was getting real in the field.
It got real
But
teary.
you know what? It was good though because it was topics that actually have a feeling and a meaning to it. It wasn't just like we just talking about the difference between blue bags and white bags. Like, we're talking about things that affect people's lives.
Which, blue bags are better.
Oh, Jesus. Why?
Because blue's my favorite color.
Okay, I like blue too.
Yellow's my favorite color.
And you just said blue versus white.
Yeah.
Anything's better than white.
Well, it depends. I like a good, like, white couch or a white comforter. I enjoy that a lot.
Blue's better. That's our next episode. We're
Ooh,
going
and
to talk about blue versus white.
Squirrel!
And a good white wall with a little bit of gold shimmer or like silver shimmer in it. It makes it feel a little classy.
A little bourgeois.
Yeah, I love it. I enjoy it actually. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to be crazy like Kim and I want my whole house white and look stark like a museum.
No one lives here?
Yeah, I just want it to have some bourgeois. Only a little bourgeois.
Just a little bourgeois.
Then we throw color everywhere else. That's how I operate.
How old were you when you learned how to spell bougie?
If you ask my friends, they'll say from the day I could spell me, I'm going to tell you truthfully, it was probably in my 20s because it sounds so different than how it actually is written.
Okay. But that was our squirrel moment. But yeah, now to the episode.
Oh yeah. All right. So we are in it today, and I just want to know, how do you guys feel about like Orville?
The popcorn?
No, not Redenbacher.
What Orville?
Well,
because I love the popcorn.
I got some in the pantry right now
with the butter and some salt, delicious and great.
Or the little
with some M&Ms.
Oh, chocolate covered raisins for me.
Girl, chocolate covered raisins. Yes. Yes. Now we're talking. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to talk about Orville, not Redenbacher, just not Redenbacher. But we are going to get into Orville Lynn Majors. And this dude, y'all, a whole nother level.
Was he amazing?
No.
Okay.
Lackluster. Yeah, lackluster.
Mediocre.
Yeah, mediocre.
Okay.
He's a mid. Yeah. Okay. So, in today's case, here are our victims. We have Marianne Adderson.
It's always a Mary.
And always, girl. Why is it somewhere in there, it just be a Mary? I'm sorry.
I was about to say why, but I feel like it's not appropriate.
Wait, why?
I'll cut this out. Because a lot of the victims are white, and Mary is a very old white name.
Okay.
But anyways.
Okay, continuing.
All right.
Dorothea Hickson, Cecil Smith, Luella Hopkins, Margaret Hornick, Freddie Wilson, and Derek Maxwell. Now, I know that's a lot of names for naming off victims.
That's a whole gang.
But we are talking about a serial killer today, guys. Ding, 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 ding. All right. And our murderer is Orville Lynn Majors. Okay, so here's our little history. And I just want to start this with, normally with the victims, I try to give detail and background on their lives. But these people were patients in a hospital. And because it is not in the same sense of like where it's out and about,
if they were like at their home or something like that, it's a lot more confidential.
I don't think that it's appropriate, just because I used to work in healthcare and I understand HIPAA, and I just don't like the idea of putting information out in like why they were in the hospital and stuff like that. I think that should remain for their families to decide.
Okay.
But shout outs to these people and sympathies with them for what they endured and went through. So our murderer is Orville Lynn Majors. He was born April 24th, 1961. He was born in Linton, Indiana.
What's that? April 24th. That's a
Taurus.
I don't even know if I know any Tauruses.
I knew one.
I know a couple.
Thank God I don't know him no more.
They're good as friends. But it's
they psycho.
Yeah.
I was gonna say by her eyeballs, I don't think that she thinks that they were good as friends.
They psycho.
I got a few Taurus friends. They
all right.
Yeah, they cool.
But they psycho.
They stubborn. Very, very, very,
Strong-willed.
very stubborn people.
Okay.
Says the Aries.
We know about the Aries. But anyway, so he was born in Linton, Indiana, and that is actually, for anyone who does not know, it is basically an area in Stockton Township in Greene County in Indiana. It is very close to Terre Haute and Bloomington.
Okay.
On average, the population is about 5,000 people, and that was of the 2020 census. And it's considered a metropolitan area of Bloomington. Okay, so if you are familiar with Indiana University, which is in Bloomington, then you'll understand that area and where it's at. It's very close to the border of Indiana and Illinois.
Okay.
All right. So he was born there to Annabelle and Orville Jean Majors. And this area that he grew up in, it was very rural, 5,000 people in the whole city. Like, I think my graduating class in high school had 1,000 people in it.
Just a small town,
So
girl.
it's a real tiny place. Some of the major highways that go through it is Indiana 54 and 59, if you ever have the need or inkling to want to go there. And just a little bit of background on him. He had his mom and his dad. He also had a sister. And he was, in his teens, he was taking care of his maternal grandmother. And he actually cared for her, and that's kind of what led him into his profession. He went to school for nursing after high school at Nashville Memorial School for Practical Nursing, and he did get an LPN degree.
Okay.
So he graduated with that. So he had a promising future. When he graduated in 1989, and from there he came back to his hometown, and he worked at the Vermilion County Hospital, which is very close to Linton and Clinton. And these are two different places. Linton and Clinton. But in Clinton, Indiana, which is also very close to Terre Haute, is just north of Terre Haute. And he worked there for a little bit of time and left, went to Nashville for like a pay increase. You know how like new nurses, pretty much
the traveling nurses.
When you're in a profession and you come right out of college, they know they got a sucker. They know you want a job. They know you got either some bills or loans or whatever, and you're just looking for an opportunity. So he left that, the Vermilion Hospital, went to Nashville, worked for about a year, and came back, right back to the same hospital where I'm assuming he must have negotiated a better price. Like, look, I got experience now. Give me some money.
Yeah.
Okay.
More money.
So he actually, in this time, he worked there between 1993 and 1995. And this hospital, Vermilion County Hospital, was... When I say that these places are small, their hospital total had 56 beds, and that included 4 ICU beds. So a tiny itty bitty, like...
Okay.
So if you dying, you really can't be dying.
Get in line.
Take a number.
It's 56 beds, so you got to figure it out.
They're playing bingo.
I 56.
I have 42. Come on up.
I 22.
Don't let me in.
Somebody holding their spleen and shit.
Just sit in the lobby. One of the beds will come. They'll come one day.
Maybe not today.
Not today, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, and before 1993, when he worked there, on average, their death rate in the hospital, because it was a very tiny hospital, and you have to imagine it's a small population, so it's not a lot of people coming through there, was roughly 26 people a year.
Okay.
So it was very little going on in this hospital, okay? And then after Orville got there, there were some big changes in those numbers, okay?
He said, I'm an overachiever.
Big time. However, the really interesting thing is that it was said that his patients liked him, that he was friendly, the staff interacted well with him. These were the things that they were saying at the beginning, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the strange phenomena that was happening up in this hospital, because there was some weird things going on.
Cue the X-Files noise.
I'll put it in there.
Okay. So in this hospital, when Orville began working there in 1993, they started to see a very large uptick in the numbers of deaths. So when it started there, they were having roughly 26 deaths a year. And after, it went up about 100 people per year. So it went up about four times. Four times the amount of people were dying.
And they didn't pick up on the correlation.
So the math wasn't mathing for them.
Well, I mean, so, patients are dying at an alarming rate. Most of the deaths are happening in the elderly population. So they're thinking at the beginning, they're starting to think okay, these are old people and they're dying off, because that's what old people kind of tend to do. As we age, we know that as you age, you get sicker and you die. We don't live forever. And these are patients they're finding that are in their 80s and their 90s and they're dying. So, could be possible,
All of a sudden, though?
Old age, randomly.
We go from 26 to 100? Right after we hire somebody new?
Now, some, really, like I said, as we age, we all know that we are eventually going to die. And,
we are?
Right.
That's like the scary shit.
It is.
It's not.
But the part that gets even stranger about this phenomenon...
It's not scary.
You don't think it's
isn't scary?
No, death itself isn't scary. I think, especially if a person like me has been numb to seeing so many deaths, but it's just you'd be like, oh shit, when? I don't think it's more so death itself. I think it's the when is the expiration date. I don't think people actively sit there and think about, when am I gonna die? Because I don't. But it's just you damn, you put on this earth, but you're gonna be taken off this earth too. And I think that
reality. I think the part of it that is more scary to most people is because they're not ready to die.
Right.
I don't think
have an unfulfilled life.
I can tell you the things that I think would be the most scary about death. I don't want to die in the most effed up way possible.
Let me go in my sleep, bro.
I mean, everybody wants that. Is it likely that we'll die that way? Probably not. Like, something's gonna happen, right? But like, I just don't want to be like Final Destination dead. You know what I mean? Like,
every time I see one of them trucks on the road, I'm like,
3 lanes over.
Right.
I don't even care if it ain't 3. I'm about to make me a lane on the on the shoulder.
I'm gonna drive on the grass. Yeah. So, anyways, but back to we diverted. But but back to the strange phenomena. So the part that got even more freaky about, you know, we went from 26 deaths roughly to 100 plus deaths over the year in which he came and started working. But the weird thing really got to be the way that these people died. Okay? So
not only were more people dying, but they were dying in a weird way.
Okay, so they were having heart attacks. And yeah, heart attacks are not weird. However, generally most people, when they have a heart attack, they have a heart arrhythmia. That heart arrhythmia causes havoc in the body, and then they go into respiratory arrest if it's unchecked, and then they die. That's not what was happening here. That's not at all what was happening here. These people were having respiratory arrest, and then erratic heartbeats, and then dying. That's not normal? No?
somebody doing some shit.
Well, you know, okay, so.
And they didn't put this together.
Well.
A year went by. A year went by.
A year and some change, because he worked there for 19, well, he worked there for 18 months total.
Is that the one they did the movie based on?
So there are, just if you guys want to check out our good
TV
old
show or something.
Our Orville, not Redenbacher, okay? We want to check out him. There is an episode on oxygen that is dedicated to him, and it's, you know how they had that TV show that was for medical murders and medical mishaps and stuff? He actually made it. Yeah, he's on there. I watched the episode. It was very interesting. It was like, oh my God, what a crazy pants. There's two other documentaries too. I only watched the one that was the oxygen one, but there were two others that were available as well. One you can watch on YouTube, and the oxygen, if you don't have like the channel Oxygen at home or you can't pull it up on demand, it is available. Segments of it are available on YouTube. You can watch it there.
Okay.
Yep. But it's a good watch. It's like an hour long, worth a looky-loo. So we have these elderly patients dying of weird heart attacks that aren't very normal. And then the part that makes it just go just a step further is there was really this look from his coworkers of they knew that something fishy was going on. They knew something was fishy going on because they had this joke, like, if Orville's there, I wonder when someone's gonna die.
So,
and I will say this. So, I can tell you, and this is gonna sound bad, but don't judge us, because when you don't work in it, you don't understand. But generally, a lot of times, you will find people who work in healthcare have a morbid sense of humor.
yes, absolutely.
Yes. Because you become
Desensitized, kind of.
You become used to it. It becomes familiar. And it's not saying that we are poking fun of the patients. We care for our patients. There is a closeness that you find with patients that you don't even have with your family, because you discuss personal things that a lot of times people don't even feel comfortable discussing with their families. So in that respect, it's not that there's a lack of care. So morbid humor becomes something that is common.
Absolutely, but to know that this kicked up when somebody got there, and y'all are obviously noticing it
because now it's becoming conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, the joke.
About it, but they joke about it around the right people, so that they can go,
what is going on here, right? So they're joking about it, the increased morbidity that's happening in the hospital. And, you know, they're like, you know, something right here. It only seemed to be when Orville is on the shift, when Orville on the job.
Somebody coming up missing.
Missing, dead, in the bag. I don't know. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. One nurse.
It's not interesting yet.
No, it gets more interesting.
Okay.
One nurse is like us. She like, now wait a minute.
Hold the fucking
She like,
phone.
something is not fucking
This
computer.
ain't adding up.
The math ain't math.
It ain't bad then. She like, how we go from 26 to 100 and something? 100 and what? That don't make no sense now. And, you know, she's just not one of those sit back and laugh about it kind of shit.
She's like,
she's like, something's going on here. And
oh, don't tell me she approached him.
well, no, she didn't do that. She was smart.
Okay.
She was a smart cookie. Her name was Dawn Stryker, or Strike. Sorry, you guys know how I'm with names. Don't judge me. Sorry, Dawn.
Judging.
But anyway, she was a nurse supervisor at the hospital.
Okay.
And she was noticing, like, this is not right. Something is really going on here. You know, he's been here for a little under 2 years. And these death rates are just ridiculous. And it's always when he's around. And everyone notices, right? So she sits back. She gets in her sleuth mode. She like, I'm about to detect and I'm going to find some things out. So she get out all the time cards, right? She get out his time cards. Then she started looking and correlating when people are dropping dead. And she like, now isn't this interesting? Out of 140, hold on, let me give you the exact number. Out of 147 deaths that have happened in this hospital, guess who was on the job for 130 of them?
Orville each and every time.
Every time. Here come Orville. Orville come pressing his ass out the damn room.
She said, when the cat is near the bowl, the milk go missing.
It's a shocker. And she's like, you know what? She wasn't crazy. She wasn't going to him because she knew he was crazy and he was killing folks, right? So she's like, I got one. I'm going to my boss. So she was like, no, I got some things. This man that ain't math, and I think y'all should look at this.
Take a look at this.
Somebody come look at this.
Come look at this. Because it's like this. It ain't like this. It's like this. A whole
rap
this.
sheet.
So she brings this to him, and they're like, we think you're right. Immediately contact the Indiana State Police. Okay? So, now we are going to get into the things that they did once it was really brought to their attention. Like, once it wasn't just suspicion, it's like, we got some evidence, y'all. Something is not right. Now, we can't prove that this man is, but we know he on the job and everybody died. Mm-hmm. Okay? So, once the police got involved, also the hospital took another action. They notified the Indiana State Board for Nursing. And they were like, we got some anomalies, y'all. Like 130 people dead on his watch.
That's a lot more than they did. It was another story like this where a nurse was doing that. And basically when the hospital picked up on it, they just fired him. But didn't state why or anything like that. And so he went and got employed at another hospital.
And that's what happens a lot, too.
Yeah, that hospital fired him. And he got employed at another hospital. He was doing it at everyone. And it wasn't until like the third hospital where
somebody did something.
Yeah, and like the one of his coworkers went to like ask questions to do like a follow-up on his applications and stuff. And when they were calling, when they called one of the hospitals and the girl answered the phone, she was like, I can't say much, but don't hire him.
Oh my God.
Don't hire him.
But
the hospitals didn't want to take the fall for it as far as like legal wise because they knew that the patients' families was going to sue.
Mm-hmm. Well, here we go, because this is gonna be one. It's a hell of a ride.
Coco is glued in.
Baby, it gets rough. And be happy that he wasn't taking care of dogs, because he might have been trying to do some of them too.
She said, what?
We'll get to that, because it's a part of the story that happened. But the pets were safe. Okay? So anyway, the hospital notifies the state board, right? And the board, what they did was, they couldn't prove that this man, they couldn't say for sure he murdered. We had evidence. They had no cameras back in the rooms. They didn't have anything like that. But what they could do is they could go to the charting. And this is where things get important. Because charts will tell on you every time.
Every time.
Every single time.
Every time. And what they found is that Orville was working outside of the scope of his practice. And what that means to the layperson, when you work outside of your scope of practice, as an LPN, he has things that he is licensed to do. And anything that goes beyond that is outside the scope of your practice. This man is working up in ICUs like he's an RN, just sitting there working, you know, doing all the stuff. And he ain't even allowed in there without a doctor, but he doing it. He doing the things. He's in the ICU, in the 4-bed ICU, taking care of folks, taking them to their grave.
Take it to the king.
He's passing medicines that he should not be administering because LPNs only have the rights to administer certain things.
Yeah.
So that's what they got him on. So he got fired from the hospital, and the Indiana State Board suspended his license for 5 years.
They need to just pack his ass up all together. Like, damn.
They really should have. But they have nothing else to get him on besides what they could see. So that's what they did, which meant he couldn't work as a nurse. Which also meant that when it comes for him, like if he wanted to go somewhere else, like in the instance of that other case, it wouldn't have been able because his license was in a bad standing, so he can't apply for reciprocity in another state. So his ass, guess what he decided to do? He was like, I'm going to open up a pet store right on the main street out of town.
Oh, what?
I know. See, that's why you in here. She's like, I'm glued. I want to know what the hell happened to him because I know he was trying to mess with my homies.
Girl, yes, your cousin Pookie and all them.
Yeah, she said, we ain't standing for this shit. Ain't that right, Nick? Get him. We got him. All right. So, here comes the investigation, and this is when things got even more like, what? Okay.
What?
So, during the investigation, trying to figure out what the hell has Orville been doing because there's people dropping dead. Everybody talk about he's, he's nice. The patients love him. Staff's like, oh, he's all right. Like, yeah, we got this running joke, but he's all right. Like, nobody really complains about this man. And they're going through the hospital records, and they find something even more troubling than what Dawn found when she was going through the paperwork. They found that when Orville was at work, a patient died every 23.3 hours.
Every day. Every day.
Every day. And that did not change on weekdays that he worked versus weekends that he worked. Every single day that he worked, a patient died every 23.3 hours. What they also noticed was days when he was not there and on vacation, guess what the average patient death went to?
Everybody lived.
What? 1.5.
One patient died every 23 days when he wasn't there. So
That
from
should've-
23 hours to 23 days when he wasn't present.
That should have let them know something from jump.
Okay? Now, when they confronted Orville about this, what y'all think Orville said?
I ain't do that.
What are you talking about?
What?
I was just doing what I was supposed to do.
People died.
What are you talking about?
Girl, get the fuck out of here.
He literally was like, people died. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He's like,
Like, no. Like,
no.
Wait, they died?
So what do you think happened to their bodies, like, after they died? Like, they had to go somewhere.
They
like,
went to the board.
Where are you
and
not
they
aware?
But wait. People
No,
died?
They died? No.
What?
No. I don't know. And I couldn't have possibly had anything to do with it because I am nurse extraordinaire. Okay. Anyway, so
People died?
He denied.
If you ever get caught into something, just deny it.
Deny it. He OJ denied
You
that
been-
shit.
I was just about to say, the glove don't fit.
And
He's like,
I ain't
y'all
doing it.
ain't trying to put me up in this because I don't know what y'all doing up in here.
If they come to you and be like, hey, we know you've been stealing money been being stolen. Money's missing?
Money is missing. What?
Missing?
Oh my God. Who was
Drake?
Missing? No. Yeah, that's sad.
So he was the type of person that thought that if he said he was innocent long enough and loud enough and for everybody to hear, he thought he was going to get away with it. Because let me tell you
we
the
know
part,
plenty of those.
we think that him denying was bad. This white man who was acting like, you know what, we're not going to say it on here because it's on YouTube, but he literally was like, I got one better. I'm gonna hire a lawyer, and I'm gonna go to every talk show that will listen to me, and we gonna talk about this because they are trying to frame me, y'all. I ain't had nothing.
So extra. So not only did he deny it, he brought more attention to himself, trying to get money off these talk shows.
I am innocent. I tell you, listen to me. All I ever wanted to do was be
help
a nurse.
people.
I learned because, I took care of my elderly grandmother. I loved her.
You probably killed her ass too.
She died.
I bet she died.
She died?
People died.
Where she died?
Where'd she go?
What year she died? How she died?
Oh my God, that should be the name of this. People died. Correct.
There were casualties.
But yeah, so he was like, I wanted to help people. I became a nurse to help people, and he just went to every talk show that would listen to him, that would allow for him to come, that would allow for him to speak. And I mean, this man went on radio shows. This man went on actual talk shows. He literally thought that every bit of publicity that he could get, where he could just say he was innocent, that
people would just be like, well, he must be.
He must be. Look at him defending himself. He didn't do this. He couldn't have done this.
There's a Harry Potter mug.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Gang, gang. Gang, gang.
I like it. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Squirrel.
So, anyway. So, after this man literally ran his pet store and did his TV strolling for almost 2 years. This went on for 19 months because the police actually did not have any way to link him to these murders. What they were believing was murder. It was all speculation. There was no smoking gun. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you what got the police gears moving into gear. It was dumbass talking. He decided to go on these talk shows. And guess who watches talk shows? Police, but who else watches talk shows?
Hospital. Nurses.
Who else?
Patients. Family. I knew I was going to get it eventually.
So the families are watching and they're like, excuse me? Because, there was things that wasn't sitting right in their spirit since their family member died.
And now you out here.
You over here, I'm innocent. I didn't even know how they trying to wrap me up in this.
People died? What are you talking about? Nobody ever died while I was working.
They're trying to keep me from being a nurse and help all these elderly people meet Jesus. I mean, why I didn't say that? Because I don't know how nobody died.
Well, I don't know if they was going there.
But, so he out here running his mouth. And during this time, the family members are like watching this and they're like, I just have some things I need to get off my chest. Because there were some things that, when it happened, didn't sit right with me. And, you let it go because they are older and you are believing what the report is saying, that these people die from heart attacks. But what I remember is that Orville was taking care of him. He gave him an injection, and not too soon after, they died. Now, it wasn't like 1, 2, 3, 4 people said this. How many families do you think came and reported? What would be
137.
Not 137. No, it was around 15 families came forward with pretty much the same sentiment, saying that their family member was sick. They went to the hospital because they were sick, but they didn't come in with like heart problems. They didn't come in like this. And then he's taking care of them, and all of a sudden now they're having a heart arrhythmia, and now they're saying they're dead. And after he gave an injection. And some of these patients, get this, he gave an injection and walked away, and they're succumbing to these issues. But some of them were succumbing to the issues before he even left the room. Yep. Yes.
The families didn't say nothing for 3 years?
But if you think about it, it makes sense. So you come to a hospital, say especially if you aren't very versed in what happens, right? Mm-hmm. You know you have an elderly patient or a family member who is in the hospital because they're sick. You know that they're taking care of them. You know that things happen. You see the nurse doing something that nurses do all the time. Nurses give injections all the time, right? Mm-hmm. and they're not putting it together because they don't know what the hospital record of death is.
I'm always like...
But you don't think about when you go into a hospital. Do you know what their record of death is? I can't tell you what the record of death is for St. Mary's or...
But I'm saying, like, if I'm sitting in there with whoever my family member is and I see him give the injection...
But you're not correlating.
But I'm just saying, I'm asking, like, before he even did, like, hey, what are you giving them right now?
Right, and he probably lied.
Okay, but then to know that a few moments after that, they then die, like, I'm there, when the doctor comes...
Well, they go into a code. But that's what I'm saying,
when the doctor comes in and they're talking to me, and, like, I don't know, like, I feel like a part of me would be like, well, all I know is that the nurse came in, gave them an injection, and they were fine, then all of a sudden they weren't.
But I think that when you think about it, like, honestly... So, I'm thinking about it from just the fact of care. It is very possible to give an injection and then the person has some, like, dies. Like, that is you can give a medication, you can give somebody a pill and then they have a heart attack and they die. That doesn't mean that, like, they're not correlating that medicine is what's doing that. Now, they're remembering it because now this fool is on the TV talking and the things that they noticed but didn't necessarily... Like they felt something was off, but it wasn't big
to where they were like, for sure. Like they doubted themselves.
Yeah, they doubted themselves.
Okay.
And then this dude now all over every Mari, Ricky Lake, talking to everybody. And, I didn't do it. I don't know. You know.
They're trying to attack me.
They're trying to frame me because I'm a good nurse.
They hate me.
Yeah. This is why the health profession is struggling right now.
Because they're just trying to ruin good nurses.
They're trying to get rid of all the good nurses.
Yeah.
So you just trying to get rid of everybody.
Hello. So now they're on to something. They got a smoking gun, right? The police like, got you, buddy. So they call in an investigator, and this guy is an electrophysiologist. Mm-hmm. His name is Dr. Eric N. Petrowski. I got it so good.
Petrowski?
Yeah.
Prestowski.
Yeah.
English major
that 5
here.
times fast.
I just want to say, y'all don't even know because you weren't here, but we did have another take of this, and I said it right the first time.
She did.
She really did.
She really did.
And we were very proud.
We was about to start clapping and everything.
Man, I had
Emmy nominations.
She
did.
Emmy nomination.
Anyways, he explained basically what these patients had experienced and how they died. That it was really only one of 3 things that could have caused this. The options were they could have had a massive heart attack. Okay. They could have had large blood clots in their lungs, or they could have died from potassium poisoning.
Sorry.
Okay. And so, with his expertise and having that information that came from the family members about, there was some weird stuff going on in these rooms.
He was in there injecting them.
Mm-hmm. And so, with all this information, they were able to get the rights to exhume the bodies. So, they exhume the bodies and they start getting down to the nitty gritty of what is happening, right? And these patients were patients that fit into the parameters. Their family members saw injections happening. They had what they called heart attacks. And they weren't having real issues before. Like, they were sick. They were in the hospital because they were sick. So we're not saying these people weren't sick. They were in the hospital because they were sick. They did not come in with signs and symptoms of having heart problems. Okay? So anyways, when they exhume them, they look at these parameters. They start identifying, there's no blood clots in these lungs.
Oh,
well, we're not finding any signs of true massive heart attacks.
Oh, what?
Well, what does that leave? They were murdered.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun, dun. Murdered. And so with that, the police had their smoking guns. They had all the smoking guns that they needed. And they were like, excuse me, Orville.
Let me holler at you real quick.
I'm going to need you to stop talking on talk show. Come on. Come with us.
Come on. I got something to say.
You're arrested. You have the right to remain silent because you didn't talk enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't say more than enough. You said a mouthful.
We're going to put these handcuffs on you and you just come with us. So that happened December 1997. Orville was arrested. And then he awaited trial for about 18 months. That's the time that it took for them to get everything together to start his case. And if Orville has not done enough
to get on my nerves,
he's going to do a little more. And so, awaiting his trial, he did even more peculiar things that were a little more strange than this.
I don't know why, I just felt like
right? Because, I mean, Orville was living and having the best time in jail.
That Ja Rule song, "Living to Everybody Living." I do.
No, that reminds me of one of the last episodes when we were talking about should jail be focused more on punishment or rehabilitation, and how they just be in jail chilling.
It's case by case to me.
This dude made jail sound kind of fun. He living like, I'm for real, and I'm like the type of person who's like, I don't never want to go to jail.
I don't want to experience
After
it.
spending a weekend in jail, I'm good. And that was just holding.
This dude went on a weight loss program.
Off camera.
Wait, what?
I was like 17.
Oh yeah, we need to definitely do this. This might go on to the mixed bag episode. I might need to hear about that for real.
Have you ever had a run-in with the law?
Ooh.
Next mixed bag.
Yeah.
Me.
So anyway, this dude is playing cards, studying the Bible because he has to get right with the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Happy Sunday. And you know, he's chatting on the phone, living it up with these lovely phone cards that he's gotten his parents to purchase. He's losing weight, and he's doing it in a very non-traditional way. He's drinking non-sugar sodas, and beef jerky, because that helps you lose weight.
So, all of you with your 2024 goals, that's the diet.
Eat some beef jerky, y'all, and slim down, okay?
Like the Slim
fellow Big
That's
Mac
why it's called
It's a Slim Jim.
That's why it's called Slim Jim.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so
Let's talk about that.
this man, according to his friends that were witnessing his chill fest, they were like, you know, he's the same type of guy that he was all his life. Like, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. I mean, it's like the stress of jail isn't even getting to him. He's just, you know, he's calm. I don't know how he's saying that calm. I wouldn't be that calm because, you know, he's like charged with murder, like a bunch of murders, and he's like,
he's meditating.
He's doing all the things because jail is working out for him. Jail is treating him well. And so, you know, the friend who noticed that he was doing so well and not having any stress was helping his elderly parents, come visit him while he was in jail. And his mom, you know, she was taking pills to help her nerves. She was taking nerve pills. Now, this woman, this is her words. Hold on. Where is Miss Annabelle? Annabelle said that she was taking nerve pills after visiting a psychologist, and she said that her husband also was taking medication because he had started having high blood pressure and issues because of the stress. But she had never had to take any type of pills, these were her words, before this incident, and now she's seeing a psychiatrist because of the stress that she's under. Her sister had 2 breakdowns, 2 episodes of just the nerves and the stress getting to her because, you know, their family is under all this deep scrutiny. Her son is under deep scrutiny and getting talked to by the people in the public. This is a small town. Everyone's talking about what is happening. They can't get away from it. And then he literally ran his parents' finances into the ground because he was in jail for 18 months, and every month they were giving him about $900. Roughly $700 a month in collect calls he was racking up, and then $200 a month in commissary so he could have candy. You know, he's supposed to be on a diet.
They ain't had JPay at that time.
We ain't got to talk. I ain't got nothing to say to you.
But he was getting soap, toothpaste, candy, pop, all that kind of stuff, and just ruining his parents' finances. And his mom said, we borrowed money on our home. We were not rich people, but we were never paupers by any means. And
she said, put some respect on my account.
Right. And she said, you know, it's just this stress is causing a hardship, and the allegations against their son. And what the dad said was, you're supposed to be perceived as innocent until proven guilty, but they looked at his son and they just saw him as guilty, and that's how he felt. Like he did not.
Damn parents.
It's not the allegations against your son that's causing you stress. Yeah. It's your son's actions that cause you stress.
Mm-hmm. Now, he didn't believe it himself. He did not believe that his son was capable of that. He said that his son wouldn't hurt anyone.
He wouldn't hurt a fly.
And he believed that his son was just doing, the right thing and taking care of the patients. And he just did not want to believe it. He believed his son was innocent. And then some of the family members, these are not Orville's family members, these are the patient's family members, did express some guilt feelings because they kind of made their family member go to the hospital and kind of felt like,
if I would have never done that.
Right. We were waiting for hours and I made them go, and if I hadn't made them go, then this wouldn't have happened to them. And that's just...
it's not their fault at all.
Not at all. Because that's Orville's doing. That's
goddamn Lynn.
Right. You did what you were supposed to do because your family member was sick and you're taken to the place.
Which is what you're supposed to do.
He had bad behavior, and those were things that he did. So those were things that his family members, because most people, when they go to jail, they stress, right? They're stressed about being in jail. But everybody else was stressed except Lynn.
Except for this man.
Yeah, except for Orville.
This dude.
Orville just chilling, eating some beef jerky. So then let's get on to Orville's trial. Because that's really fun too. I mean, if we can call it fun. It's interesting because he was a peculiar man. But during the course of his trial, there were 79 witnesses that came and talked and presented information.
Everybody was like, I got something to say.
I got something I need to get off my chest. Yeah.
Right now.
So some of the witnesses obviously were testifying for Orville, just speaking to his character, who he was, My brother, he would never do anything wrong. Dad probably for sure got up there talking and telling himself.
I can't believe y'all would even say my son did these things. I'll go to my grave knowing he was innocent.
Knowing it. Okay.
Y'all saw this good man just trying to take care of people and attacked him.
But this
I don't know why his daddy sound like an old Southern preacher.
Because he was. He is old.
That's what I mean.
His name is Orville. He in the south part of Indiana.
It's like Endertucky almost. You in Endertucky.
So anyway, this is when things got even more dark because things started to emerge as the testimonies went on, and people who worked with Orville got up there and started talking about things they remember he said. And so things that Orville said just, they were real jacked up. He said, and I quote, they said that he really didn't like elderly people. He kind of hated them. And he thought that they should be gassed. Also,
such a normal thing.
It's giving Hitler.
Hello? Yeah. We gas chambering people now? And this is because they were demanding and whiny and disproportionately adding to his workload.
Oh my God. You have to do your job.
I had the work to do.
I had to go above and beyond at my job.
And these
my God.
These old ass people with their damn demands.
People died? Sorry.
You wanted more
Who
ice?
died?
Right, who died? Where?
All they wanted was an extra pillow on their bed and an extra blanket.
He said, I got your pillow.
Chad.
Oh, don't worry.
They all right. They're with the Lord now.
I'm gonna just go to the bathroom. Wait a minute, sir. They're calling right now.
My bladder, I got a small bladder. I gotta go. But anyway, so out of all the numerous people that testified, the one who was like the GOAT, the OG GOAT, was Dr. Eric Petrowski. Or Prostowski, whatever. Sorry. Prostowski.
Are you still a doctor? Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
He is. As far as the documentary, which we talked about earlier, you can see off of Oxygen. He was on that, and that was in the 2000s. So he's probably still around. He looked pretty young.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, he was like maybe 50 in the video.
Okay. Shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
So anyways, he was the star. Like, he was that witness that he wasn't going for when the defense attorneys were trying to, like, discredit. He was like, no.
He said, y'all know.
Like, that's cute. And what you're saying, these little bits of evidence that you are trying to use to say and discredit what I'm saying, that's cute, but that doesn't pertain to what we're talking about here, because what we're talking about is the murder that happened, and it was definitely murder.
He did it.
He did it. And they're irrelevant details, but it's nice. They have no bearings on the fact that these people died from potassium overdoses. They died. Yeah, that's what happened. And so,
My God.
The final little nail in Orville's coffin to make him seen as what he was, a murderer, was when his roommate came forward, was like, you know what, I kind of remember when I lived with him, this dude had a bunch of vials. And it was real weird. They're like kind of everywhere. I don't really know what they were for. I know he worked at the hospital, but he had all these vials. So the police, they confiscated them when they did a search and seizure of his home. And they found bottles of potassium and epinephrine, which he was using. They tracked those back to the hospital. So they were bottles and vials that came from the hospital. And what he was doing, he was making a concoction that was causing these weird heart arrhythmias and respiratory arrest. But how they knew that they were being misused, they were single-use vials. And instead of having one puncture hole in the top of the vial, they had multiple puncture holes. Because even though it's a single use, a dosage can vary from patient to patient. So say that one patient only needs a small amount, the rest of it is discarded. He's using
Not Orville.
Nuh-uh.
He said, you don't throw this stuff away.
Pull this up.
Put this in my pocket.
Got him.
And scene.
And so on October 17th, Orville was convicted of 6 murders. And on the 7th, the jury was deadlocked because they thought that there was like too long of a time from when the things happened to the person dying, so they weren't able to.
They should never call me to be in the jury.
Because I would definitely say kill him.
I mean, if he's guilty of these 6, he's guilty of that 7.
I'm telling you, I want to be one of those people, and I do want to do jury duty. I have never ever been able to do it, but I want to be that person that say that motherfucker's guilty. That's me. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna be like, fight me.
And so they gave
that one person. I just don't know. You better say guilty. Say guilty.
Right. Don't have us sitting in here deadlocked talking about something. Well, I'm not sure. I can't have that on my conscience.
No, motherfucker.
Give me the paper. We all agree he's guilty.
All 12 of us guilty. He guilty.
So Orville was sentenced to 60 years per murder.
Woo woo.
Which is
360 years.
Exactly what he deserved.
The justice system finally doing something.
Did a great job. They handled that one perfectly. And the judge did have some comments. Throughout the trial, Judge Yelton he wasn't like picking one side to have like, oh, well, we'll just let that in and we'll let that slide. He was very fair. But at the end, he had some comments for Orville. He told Orville that
you piece of
he said that he had diabolical acts and the parallel of he was a parallel of evil at its most wicked form. And he said that because of this, he would get the maximum sentence.
Read him to filth.
Than what he deserved. Now, Orville had some names that were given to him in the paper that I didn't like. I didn't like the angel of death that they gave him because there's nothing angelic about that. It's giving Satan to me, and I know Satan was an angel.
But he was kicked out for a reason.
Sure was. And they also said that he was the most laid-back serial killer because he was like, mooching off his parents, wrecking their homes and lives and whatever.
Who just says some shit? You a laid-back serial killer.
Sure laid back.
Real chill guy. Real chill guy.
Chill.
That's the 90s for you.
Sure is. So this is not the end of it. We still got a little bit more because Orville just could not let it go.
Let it go.
So after Orville was dismissed from working at the Vermilion Hospital, so the Vermilion Community Hospital, immediately after that, they were like, you know what, we need to do a quick change here. We're going to change our name because we do not need to be associated with this murdering killer psychopath. So they changed their name to West Central Community Hospital. But they were sued because the family started, you know, getting what you changed the name to. Because
I still know it was you.
Right. And 80 patients' family members actually sued. Most of those families settled for, you know, undisclosed amounts of money with the state compensation fund. But the hospital actually ended up having to pay the state over $80,000 in fines because of their negligence. So the things that they did not do. And violation of codes. And they actually ended up losing their accreditation for a little bit.
Woo!
Okay. Later
As
on,
they should.
And they really should have, because there were things that they missed, and it shouldn't have taken, I'm sorry, it should not have taken a nurse supervisor to figure out that our death count has gone from 26
to over 100.
147. That shouldn't take her. Her job is to supervise the nurses and make sure they're doing their work. Writing out schedules, sending people home when you have like the LAT days, or calling in people when there's extra, giving a helping hand when there's too much for the nurses to be staffed with. That's the nurse supervisor's job. Be on the meetings when they have any kind of thing as far as hiring people, firing people. That's the nurse supervisor's job. Not to do the damn linebacker work of let me correlate Orville's schedule with every death in the freaking hospital. Okay? But anyway, so when they reopened, they were reopened by Terre Haute Union Hospital Systems, and that's what they remain to at this day. And they're called Union Hospital in Clinton. Okay. But in 2002, this is where Orville comes back in this story. But Orville decided that he just wasn't feeling that guilty verdict, because, you know, nah. And he was like, I'm gonna appeal this case, and it's not because none of the evidence was wrong or anything like that, but it's because y'all turned that jury against me. You, judge, and you, sheriffs, turned the jury against me because, you know, that jury person, she was talking about her birthday was coming up, and judge, you bought her a cake. And then the sheriffs, y'all out there grilling for them and throwing up a picnic for her to have a birthday. I don't care if she was sequestered because of me. And then you had the nerve to get her some white Zinfandel so she could toast on her birthday.
You sound salty, like that beef jerky you eat.
So you just over here trying to influence them and put these people against me. Because cake will do it. Also,
you watch First 48, so you see what a big McDonald's #1 can do.
Also, he said that while they were sequestered, that during deliberation, the sheriffs brought 2 beers to a jury member, and that could have an influence on their actual deliberation. And then the real kicker, this is the part that really sent it over the top, and all the people was like, fuck Orville, because the sheriffs, we kick it with them. They took them fishing, y'all, and that's why he lost.
What?
Yep.
Fishing.
Yep. They took him fishing. So for a piece of cake, a little toast of wine, some barbecue.
Take much to make me happy.
Right? Y'all made me lose my case. And then the Supreme Court said, nobody, you lost because you're guilty. And so enjoy jail.
Yay!
And here's some good news, y'all. I can report to you that Orville did his time and he died in jail.
Woo! Did he have a heart attack?
Yes, he did.
Did he really die of a heart attack?
He died of a heart attack. He did.
Karma.
Yeah, karma comes around. I hope that heart took a long time.
Karma's from the block. She said,
I'll remember you.
Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch.
So that is the case of Orville, not Redenbacher, because we like Redenbacher. That's all. He makes some good popcorn.
He does.
Whoop.
Shout out to the GOAT.
Yep. And so, that is the story of Orville Lynn Majors and his horrible, deplorable, serial killer, nasty ways. And you can catch us next time on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram,
Twitter. We're also on YouTube, of course.
Right here where you're seeing us.
Subscribe,
right down
wherever
there,
it may be.
If you have a comment, please comment. If you don't like us, you can email us. If you don't like us, still subscribe. Tell a friend. And in fact, tell somebody you don't like that you like us.
Yeah.
So then they can listen.
If you don't like the sound of our equipment, donate to us.
We have a cash app. And worked in the Midwest.
And you know what? You can send an email and ask for where you can send equipment.
Yes, of course. We take all donations.
We are not too proud.
We get this. We spend our money out of our pockets to make this happen.
Right.
We understand people have their criticism and complaints and they don't like the sound quality or whatever. But show us a tutorial since you know everything.
Yeah, make a tutorial for us. Teach us how to use our equipment better.
We just started with a dream doing this. We just said, hey, this sounds like a crazy idea. Let's roll with it. We didn't go into the semantics of everything.
We're figuring it out as we go.
Exactly.
Because we're some fly by the seat of our pants kind of girls.
Very, very smart ladies. So, yeah.
Anyhow.
So our email is murkedinthemidwest@gmail.com. If you have any case suggestions, if you want to be a guest on one of our episodes.
Join us. We have room.
We do.
Yes.
Somewhere. We would love it.
We got it though. You can squeeze stand back there.
Right. Not the stand. We're not gonna make y'all stand.
No, we wouldn't do that. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up. Bye.